must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Today in Africa, we see a lot of uprisings, planning for uprisings, plotting for uprisings in several African countries. The events on the African continent, therefore, as predicted much earlier myself, in 2017, I said, before 2020, 13 African countries would have undergone either soft regime change, soft coups, or violent regime change through uprising, which now seem to be real. The signs that and the symbols that we see are the real symbols and the signs that more is to come against African governments. What do we do then? There is a new method of changing governments strategically placed in the United States of America by George Soros. George Soros funds civil societies, civil disobedience, civil violence in Africa. It is upon you Africans and African heads of state, wherever you were, as you plan to convene next month or before the end of this month in Addis Ababa, to understand the magnitude of this regime change strategy. Many wars are taking place, internal strife, conflicts like the one in Cameroon, Amazonia, like the one in Biafra, Boko Haram, and then in Biafra, like the one in Libya. But the theme is the same. Regime change, uprising. Is it a matter of taking over our resources? You see, the war in Congo has erupted again. Unknown militias have arrived in Congo, restarted the war, and it is going on. All these culminate to one thing. Are we ready to be independent? As I said last week, this week, are people in Africa ready to accept the results of elections? Elections everywhere in Africa are bringing the chaos we see. The people of Africa seem to be divided after elections or before elections. Is Africa ready for elections? Do we need elections in Africa? If so, are we tolerant enough to accept results? Are we ready? Which method can we use in Africa to make sure that there is hope for the countries and there is hope and the future of Africa is guaranteed? Viewers, the High Court in Malawi today or yesterday was hearing a case when the president had already been sworn in. If the president of Malawi has been sworn in, then the High Court is hearing the case. Is that not a disaster, an accident in waiting? Whether this will make us peaceful Africa remains to be seen. And may God help us to build a better Africa. Thank you very much.
A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for finding time to join us today. Just a few minutes past 11 a.m., about 16 minutes past 11 a.m. East African time. I trust your day has started off well. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuned in today. And thank you so much. This is Diplomatic Leaks, and our topic of the day is, does Zimbabwe need sanctions or engagement? And recently, the United Kingdom slapped sanctions on Zimbabwean security officials over alleged human rights abuses in a move that will restrict the travel to Britain and freeze their assets, now applying a new sanctions regime following its exit from the European Union. The UK cited a crackdown on protests in January 2019, which killed 17, and post-election violence in 2018 as it introduced the sanctions on Minister for State Security Owen Nkube, as well as heads of police and intelligence organizations. Now, the other three named include Central Intelligence Organization Chief Isaac Moyo, Zimbabwe Republic Police Commissioner General Godwin Matanga, and Anselm Sanyatwe, a former commander of the Presidential Guard. The UK statement published on February 1st said the announcement ensures these individuals cannot freely travel to the UK, channel money through UK banks, or profit from the UK economy. And these are just the latest sanctions there by the UK. We know Zimbabwe faces sanctions by the European Union, by the US, and that is just the latest there. So that forms basis of our conversation today. Does Zimbabwe need further sanctions or engagement? And to help me out in this conversation today, I'm joined by Saxon Sveen from Zimbabwe itself. Saxon, good morning. All right, Saxon, we shall not be using.
Good morning, Miriam. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Your signal is not very good, so when it comes to a point, perhaps it's not very good, so you might unfortunately disengage you, but let's see how that will work out. All right, thank you so much for joining us, and nevertheless, Saxon, and it's nice to have you on the show. And we are also joined by Mr. Mangaza from Zimbabwe. Mr. Mangaza, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning, viewers. Good morning all over the world. Thank you for having me on this platform.
All right, and we are also joined by Gugu Nkube from, I think, South Africa. Gugu, a very good morning to you. All right, so we are also joined by Abigail Mupambi from Zimbabwe. Abigail, a very good morning to you. Abigail, good morning. Okay, all right, very well. Thank you so much. And as they, have a bit of a problem with the signal there from our panelists, but I'm sure they're working to correct that, and they shall be with us soon. And in Kenya, we are joined by Douglas Kirimi. Douglas, a very good morning to you.
Very good morning to you, Miriam, and also to our comrade.
Douglas, I'm being told, please, can you fix that? I think your background is affecting your signal there. So, please correct that. So, thank you so much for joining us this morning. All right. So I'll move on to the next person. We're joined by Professor Jared Onyari. Professor, very good morning to
you. Yes, Miriam, good morning. My fellow panelists and our viewers from wherever they are around the world.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much. And we are also joined by Oh, today we're going to have a bit of a problem there with a lot of signals there are not very, very clear. And, well, technology sometimes, can be a bit challenging. We're also joined by Xavier Zavare from, he's always in London. I don't know if that's where he's joining us today. Xavier, good morning. Okay.
Hi, Miriam. Good morning. I won't be long with you today because I'm tied up with family issues.
Okay.
I'll just make my 5 minutes contribution, then I'll get out. My apologies for that.
All right, thank you so much. So perhaps I'll just start with you, and also your signal is not as good today. I don't know what is happening, but these new sanctions on Zimbabwe, are they necessary, or is it time perhaps a country like the UK or even the European Union or even the US, engaged differently with Zimbabwe outside of just imposing more sanctions on targeted individuals and also on the economy? Xavier.
We're starting.
He said he wanted to leave in the next 5 minutes. I wanted for him to start, but it appears he's not there. So, Mr. Maganza, you can go on.
Okay. Thank you so much. This is quite an interesting topic, and it is equally affecting Zimbabwe a lot for the past 20 plus years. This issue of sanctions. The United States and most European countries have imposed the sanctions on us. So one observation I made was that sanctions, no matter the prefix we might give to them, for example, they might say targeted sanctions, economic sanctions, military sanctions, or whatever, but they still remain sanctions. We remember recently those are 4 members of our security cluster who were put on sanctions. They say that they are targeted, but in reality, they just use their names as a smoke screen. But in reality, they will be targeting the Zimbabwean economy, so that at least if it is put into tatters, we will come into submission and then be in a position to talk to them on their terms, not on our terms. So what my feeling is that engagement is what Zimbabwe needs. Where there is an impasse, there is need for engagement, so that both parties can come to the table and iron out their differences. There should be a common front from which both parties, or a common point from which both parties should operate from, not whereby each one or each opposing party is trying to show that I am superior to the other. When 2 bulls fight, it is the grass which suffers. So we do not want the grass to suffer because those 2 bulls are fighting. The reason which led to those bulls fighting is what we want to avoid, to bring to a conclusion, so that at least we have to separate those bulls. But how do we separate them? Because we still need those 2 bulls, so that we continue having our head to grow. So considering Zimbabwe and Britain, on paper, on social media, they claim, probably those who impose sanctions on Zimbabwe, they claim that everything is well with us, everything is well with us. All of a sudden, you hear that we've done sanctions have been imposed on Zimbabwe. You hear the United States sanctions have been imposed on Zimbabwe. But what they have done is that they've done more harm than good on the ordinary Zimbabwe, because the basic needs which we are supposed to get, the economy which is supposed to flow, has been put into tatters by those sanctions. Zimbabwe does not live in isolation. It is part of the global village. And by so doing, we should make sure that we should be in a position to cooperate with the rest of the world in a free and fair manner, whereby all countries are taken as equal, not whereby other countries have got to try to impose certain conditions on another country so that they can say that we are going to engage you. Engagement is the right process. All should come with open arms and be willing to change or to come to an agreement that we should agree on this. If they are to disagree, they've got to disagree amicably and still come back and talk to each other, so that the economies of all the countries which are involved, they have got to move on smoothly not at the expense of the people, but the people should benefit from what their countries offer.
Very well.
That's my submission at the moment.
Very well. Thank you so much, Mr. Maganza. Very well said there. Xavier, you've told me you're leaving soon, so I'd like for you to respond to some of the, questions there and some issues that Mr. Maganza has raised. And also, is it about time that maybe these countries that keep imposing sanctions against targeted individuals in Zimbabwe and other kinds of forms of sanctions, maybe is it about time they changed their strategy and see that, because since when? I mean, it's been a while since these sanctions has been being imposed on individuals in Zimbabwe, on the country itself, and has it not achieved whatever it is that they've been wanting to achieve through these sanctions? So maybe it's not working as maybe they had intended. So maybe it's about time they changed their strategy and started engagement. I don't know what you think, Xavier. All right, so he's not available. So I will go to Google Nkube from South Africa. Good morning, Google. What do you make of these sanctions against Zimbabwe, the new ones? And is it about time maybe they changed tact on how to engage with Zimbabwe? Okay, are we not having anybody present here today? All right, yeah. So go ahead. Go ahead. Hello, can you hear me? I think just, for those who may not be having a very good signal, maybe we will have them join us later so that it makes it easier for me on my end here. So I'll bring in Abigail Mupambi. All right, so I'm told Abigail is also not there. Nkube, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, very well. Thank you so much. So these sanctions against Zimbabwe, is it about time perhaps the European Union and now these latest ones from the UK and the US, is it maybe about time they changed how they engage with Zimbabwe and not just in the form of using sanctions if they want to address some issues with the country?
I think firstly we need to look at why the sanctions were imposed. Some of the reasons the sanctions were imposed, even the UK and the US themselves cannot justify those reasons. Thus, therefore, in my view, their sanctions have actually failed to work on Zimbabwe or to achieve their desired goals. I am of the view that it is time that they remove their sanctions. However, their argument is that there is still corruption, there is still human rights violations. Now, if we look at the issue of corruption, surely if it was all about corruption, South Africa will be one of the countries that are on the sanctions list. Because if you look at the level of corruption in South Africa, we are just a toddler in terms of the sanctions as compared to South Africa. So definitely it's not the issue of sanctions. You look at the issue of human rights violations. Zimbabwe is an independent state. And I'm of the view that UK and the US, they need to let the people of Zimbabwe self-determine. We have got a constitution that governs the laws of, that determines the laws of our country. It is thus, therefore, unfair for them to say Zimbabwean government must allow whoever wants to do whatever in Zimbabwe and get away with it. We recently saw what happened in the USA with the issue of Donald Trump. They made a number of arrests there. It was chaotic. They made a number of arrests. So why is it that they want Zimbabwe to be a banana republic? Zimbabwe cannot be a banana republic. It is time they remove their sanctions. If they argue that sanctions are there to discipline the government, surely the sanctions have failed to work. And again, if sanctions are only for the targeted individuals, how come Ezra Chisaswanda was looking for the donations for the albinism people in Zimbabwe through GoFundMe? those contributions, they ended up being refunded back to the contributors simply because GoFundMe couldn't pay for the cause because they were operating from a Zimbabwean level. So I'm of the view that it's time sanctions be removed. They affect the poor of the poorest. We have seen the women and the children, how much they are suffering under the sanctions. Women actually have to bear the most price as number one. Sanctions disturb their marriages, their homes, their families. The husbands have to move out of the country to look for greener pastures. And thus the woman is left with all the responsibilities of looking after the family. So the United Nations and the UK are actually suffocating the women and the children more. I'm of that view that their sanctions are not affecting any of the so-called people that they are targeted to. For example, I will give you His Excellency. His Excellency has already been working the rest of his life. He has accumulated enough for himself. He's not actually, he is feeling the sanctions as the father of the nation, but him as a person, he's not affected by those sanctions. Those sanctions are affecting you and me, the social groups. They are affecting you and me that have to go to that clinic where we cannot find Panado. So the sanctions have no purpose on Zimbabwe. It's time they be removed. That's my submission.
All right, very well. Thank you so much. And we know that European Union last year made that argument, and they said that these sanctions, they're only targeted to certain individuals. So there's no way you can draw parallel to how that is affecting perhaps the financial situation there in Zimbabwe. They're saying these are completely different issues. These are only meant to affect the individuals that these sanctions have been placed upon. I don't know how you respond to that, Saxon.
That's a fallacy. We've got companies that are sanctioned that employ ordinary people. I get an example for a company called Industrial Development Corporation. It is into agriculture, it is into engineering, it is into agro-processing, it is into real estate. How can they say it's not affecting ordinary people? Many people lost their jobs when these companies were placed on sanctions, as they couldn't operate at full throttle. Where the company called Cisco Steel, which was responsible for steel.
Oh, we apologize for that.
It forwarded as it scenario. I had to subtract as the Zimbabwe Power Authority couldn't buy boilers for power generation. Power generation of ordinary Zimbabweans. How can they say ordinary people are not affected? Ordinary people are the real targeted people, not the leaders. The ordinary people are the ones that are really targeted. That's the meaning of targeted sanctions. That's my submission.
Okay, Saxon. Thank you so much. A very important point that you've raised, and you've cited a company there that the owner was targeted, and because of the targeted sanction there, it ended up affecting this company that had employed several other Zimbabweans. So right now, a lot of them are out of work, and because the sanctions affected that. Abigail Mupambi, good morning. All right, we seem to have lost Abigail there, but I'll go to Professor Jared Nyari from Kenya. Professor, the UK just recently slapped sanctions on certain individuals there in Zimbabwe, and they're saying that this comes after the 2019 general post-election violence in 2018, and in January 2019, about 17 people were killed. So they're saying, you know what, now that you've left the European Union, we had given you, sanction as the UK was part of the European Union, but now that we have left the European Union, we are going to also place sanctions on these individuals as the United Kingdom, and they're saying this will ensure that these individuals cannot freely travel to the UK, channel money through UK banks, or profit from the economy of the United Kingdom.
Miriam, thank you for that good question. Let me just have this to say, that sanctions are evil. It does not affect the intended persons. The individuals and the companies who have rooted and done all sorts of things from any other respective countries, Miriam, when you put restriction, Miriam, they have got money. Their children can go to school. They can have ends meet. But the sanction will harm poor workers, poor citizens. So, from where I sit, sanctions are evil, and they should never be lifted out, Miriam. And Miriam, let me just have this to say that you are in a house, and you wake up in the middle of the night and you find that the house is burning. The exit, the door, this is where the fire is. What do, Miriam? You look for an exit, a different exit, and escape from that fire. And even if you don't escape, Miriam, you try to do something and we will come and find out that you were trying to escape. Sanctions have been in place against the people of Zimbabwe, Miriam. Tell me which government in the world, Miriam, we don't have corruption. Tell me any. The United Kingdom itself, you remember what chicken get? Yes, they also practice corruption. When the money has been routed from the continent of Africa, Miriam, where is it invested? Where is it banked? Offshore accounts? Do they return that money? The money for Abacha, who was the president for Nigeria, has never been returned. The money for Mobutu Seseko has never been returned, Miriam. This is the total hypocrisy, Miriam. Where don't we have violation of human rights? The most recent case, a few days, Miriam, you saw what happened to George Floyd in America, Miriam. Where it was United Kingdom, if they are so much concerned about humanity, Miriam. And the black people are struggling to say that also the Black Lives Matters, Miriam. And you cannot hear their voice, Miriam. And then they come to lectures that they tell us about human rights. What kind of human rights are they talking about? Miriam, they had put restrictive measures against Mugabe. Is Mugabe alive, Comrade Mugabe? And may he rest in peace, Miriam, so that we meet at the feet of Jesus. Because that's the man who could speak, who will stand and speak against them. All the men and women we have, I don't know whether women have tails. They have coiled the tails. They can't speak. If they were serious, they wanted to affect Mugabe. Mugabe is no more. What are they waiting for? So what they want to do that the African leaders, Miriam, even if what this kind of people are arresting, Miriam, the African people, Comrade Emerson should be able to do this. Let him just fight corruption. If he fights corruption, it will be for the good of the people of Zimbabwe and not America or UK.
All right.
If he ensures that, Miriam, there is respect of human rights, it is a good thing to do. And you need not to be told by anybody else, Miriam. We have to respect human rights issues. So that's why I want to do, Miriam, that the African leaders, Comrade Emerson, Miriam, should start doing things which will take Zimbabwe forward. With all this, with or without sanction, Miriam, God has been so much gracious to the people of Zimbabwe. And during the difficult times, Miriam, that's when they will rise and be counted as a people. You mean, you want to tell us that the United Kingdom talks about human corruption? Who came to Zimbabwe and took all their resources? Who killed our people when we were struggling for independence? They should be able to spare us. The sanctions for Zimbabwe should have been removed not even yesterday, the day before yesterday, and the other day. They should not be there, because when the innocent people are suffering, Miriam, that is a violation of their human rights. Those are double speak. When the government cannot be able to provide drugs in the hospital, provide food, have the best amenities, Miriam, those are a violation of human rights, and that is being violated by the so-called United States of America and the UK.
All right.
My submission here is that Africa, I'm looking forward towards when African progressive leaders will rise. Progressive scholars, progressive journalists, progressive businessmen, so that we can be able to do things right. We need to take the African leaders, the leadership of Zimbabwe, and we say, where do we want to take our country? And you know, Miriam, and I'm urging the people of Zimbabwe, let them learn from Kenya. We have not done it, but they can look for the redemption strategy, Miriam. The people of Zimbabwe went to all the western capital cities, Miriam, trying to talk about the sanctions against their country and see what it is doing, Miriam. See how much precious time we are discussing the lifting of the sanctions instead of discussing how do we develop the continent of Africa. So Miriam, what we are trying to do, we are on the right course of history. We may succeed or not succeed, but we are telling them that sanctions are evil. The people of Zimbabwe are suffering.
Very well.
And we never tolerate it anymore. I submit.
Very well, thank you so much, Douglas Kirimi from Kenya. Does Zimbabwe need sanctions or a different kind of engagement?
Thank you, Miriam, and also for sorry to the world and also to the people of Uganda for their continued sanctions that have been imposed against their people and also against their country. Because what we see today is also a violation of their rights and sovereignty as a people, as a country. Zimbabweans don't deserve the sanctions that they are receiving today. Why is everyone against their case? We have seen people who have violated human rights more than you, Zimbabwe. I'm not saying there are no human rights abuses in Zimbabwe. You got Zimbabweans here, they can tell us. But people in Tigray, in Ethiopia, have died. Abiy Ahmed moves around without any sanctions in their country. There are many countries in Africa that have not received the sanctions from these people, and they are continuing imposing sanctions on Zimbabwe. The sovereignty of the people of Zimbabwe is threatened. Their country is threatened by these sanctions they keep imposing on them, such that they want to isolate Zimbabwe for a very long time. It is now time that these people, the imperialists, leave the people of Zimbabwe alone, because at the end of the day, these sanctions, they don't deserve them. And I'm urging Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, the president of Zimbabwe, should lead Zimbabweans courageously and also fearlessly so that they can be able to beat these sanctions that have been imposed against the people of Zimbabwe and also against their land. Because at the end of the day, all the issues that are being raised by the US and the UK and other imperialists do not augur well with the ordinary Zimbabweans. It is ordinary Zimbabweans suffer. Like I think Gugu and Zube said, or someone else said, that it is the people of Zimbabwe, ordinary Zimbabweans, that suffer when these sanctions are put on the people of Zimbabwe. Because I don't think Emerson Mnangagwa is going to suffer because of these sanctions. I don't think any of his ministers is going to suffer because of these sanctions. It is Maganzas of this world who are going to suffer. It is Gugu and Zube of this world that are going to suffer. In Zimbabwe, these people should be able to be released from these sanctions and shackles from our imperialists who have also impoverished the people of Zimbabwe. The people of Zimbabwe needs to now talk to these people or engage to them at different levels so that they can be able to, so that the sanctions can be able to be removed from Zimbabwe, so that Zimbabwe can also go forward and also so that they can progress as a people and also grow as a nation. I submit, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much, Douglas Kirimi, from the central part there of Kenya here. Now, the United States and the European Union have both maintained sanctions, citing a lack of progress in democratic and human rights reforms, as well as restrictions on press freedoms. They target both specific individuals and companies. United States financial and travel restrictions currently apply to more than 80 individuals. EU sanctions also target specific individuals, both within the Zimbabwean government and associated with it. We are joined again by Ambassador Maina Ghana from Chad. Ambassador, good morning.
Miriam, good morning.
All right, Ambassador, nice to have you this morning.
Good morning this morning.
Okay.
We are talking about Zimbabwe.
Yes, we are, and I'm asking you, does Zimbabwe is there need to Zimbabwe to continue being issued these sanctions, or is it about time perhaps they started engaging with Zimbabwe?
Yeah, Miriam, as of today, we discovered that we are almost 140-something individuals who are into sanction in Zimbabwe. Almost 59 companies, if I may understand Mr. Mangaza, right?
Yes.
Almost 59 companies who suffering about 141 individuals. And those sanctions, when we investigate them, we find out that the people are undermining democracy and human rights. Am I right, Mr. Mangaza?
Yeah, correct.
So that means that the Western people have dictated us that they give us a roadmap to follow, and we did not follow. That's why they are sanctioning us. They are putting pressure on us, right?
They want us to do what we want, not what we have to do.
Yeah, they want us to do what they want. Right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
But
Not
because
what we are doing.
because we embrace, they give us a system that is not suitable to us, and we agree to go on the system. That was the difficulties we are having with these people, that we have to redraw the lines. That we need to bring our system of governance, that they have to agree with us, not their system, because it did not work. That's what it caused a chaos in the country, right? This political system, party or election has divided many African families. People become big enemies today. Am I right or wrong? Everybody agree with me in Africa.
Yeah, correct. Very correct.
Divide us completely. But the issues is right now, we are going out of trajectory that always blaming these Western people. Today, Zimbabwe have the power to come together to say, listen, guys, this system of democracy is not working. Let us come together, do a system, and tell them, I don't want you guys to be involved with our system. We will tell you what we want. You are not going to tell us what you want. Because right now, the Western are telling us, they're giving us their condition. They are telling us their need, but it's not what we want as Africans. Do you think that this democracy has helped Zimbabwe since 1995? He has only messed the country. People didn't come together to work. We are always sharing ourselves, killing ourselves, always fighting, complaining, election, positions, whatever. But the real needs of African has never met.
But in the
Let us
meantime,
understand.
in the meantime,
Yeah, Miriam, go
Ambassador,
ahead.
this is a system we're working with. This is a system Zimbabwe is working with. So my question was, is it about time that perhaps the European Union and now the UK, the US, they started engaging the government in Zimbabwe, other than just putting more sanctions on some individuals and also companies that affect the entire economy of the country?
I am getting there, Miriam. I am getting there, because when you see the sanction, the reason behind the sanction, Western people are giving us said that some of the people in the country are undermining democracy. Am I right, Professor Onyari? That is their fake reason they are giving to us.
Yes.
That some people are not respecting, they are looting monies, they are abusing human rights. This is their reason. Am I right or wrong?
One of the reasons, yes.
But is that true?
People from
That they are undermining
Subjective.
democracy. I'm asking the Zimbabwean, can give me
Zimbabweans
the answer.
can answer
Are
that.
they undermining?
That is subjective, because when we talk of human rights, we wonder which human rights they will be talking about, which they tell us we are
God
those
bless
Zimbabweans who
you.
are on the ground. We are the Zimbabweans on the ground, and we understand what is taking place. And so who would say that they will tell us that you are undermining human rights when we probably say we are simply maintaining law and order, and then they say we are undermining.
No, the
human
issue
rights.
is we African, we are the one playing the game and crying because some of the people are showing themselves victim, showing the Western, and the Western come in. When we come together to do the handshake to say that we decide to build our country, we don't know that you are useless human right. We are deciding to build our country, and we don't want you to be involved. Nobody has wronged us. We need to redraw the line. Do you think they can involve themselves?
Ambassador, if I might
Yes, sir.
interject,
Go ahead,
in
Mr.
the United States, we saw on social media all over the world, on press, on television, the police, the army beating people who had invaded the Capitol Hill. And then we also saw the pictures of those who were shot during the skirmishes. And nothing was said. The whole world kept quiet about it. But if such a picture is shown all over, which is about Zimbabwe, you find a lot is said about it. Why?
Thank you. Let me remind you as of today. Let me remind you one thing, Mr. Mangaza. As of today, write it on your agenda. The world is run by the powerful people. The one people of this world, they set the rule, they do whatever they want, and they go free. So if we are not among the 1%, we need to re-strategize our game system to make sure that we is suitable for us. You see that in America, they can do a lot of things, go free. There is no American can go to ICC, but if me and you do that, tomorrow you will go. You get my point. So we have to understand the game of this world. I understand also how are we going to play it. That's what Professor Nyari is telling us. We need to redraw the system that we can come together to make sure that some of their system, when they impose to us, we say we don't want it. It's not going to work for us.
Okay, very well.
Because now we play their game. That's why we are paying the price.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ambassador. And Kube, you had something, you had a rebuttal to that. Go ahead.
Yes, For example, Ambassador, if you look at the issue of Zimbabwe, we have got an opposition that is actually paid to cause chaos in Zimbabwe. So how do you then address such people who are now caught between being patriotic and the money that is coming to their pockets? I also agree that we really need to find a strategy of addressing such people. And what is even disappointing, like what Magaza said, is that we saw about 5 people were killed in the US at the Capitol building there. Nobody said anything about it. We look at Nigeria, about a lot of people were killed during the SARS demonstration. Nobody said anything about it. We look at the Ugandan recent past elections, a number of people were killed there. Nobody said anything. So definitely the issue of Zimbabwe cannot be said it's an issue of human rights. It's not an issue of human rights. We cannot have the MDC trio being given a bail today, and each and every bail comes with conditions. You are given a bail by a respective court that you mustn't do 1, 2, 3, 4. You go ahead the following week, you violate the bail conditions, you get arrested again, you given a second bail because you find probably a magistrate or a judge that is a woman who probably sympathizes with you as a woman, and you get another bail. Again, you still go and violate the bail conditions. What exactly is happening there? I doubt the issue of Zimbabwe is actually an issue of human rights violation. I think it's about Zimbabweans learning to be patriotic and putting their country first. Money will never be enough. You will never finish money. You cannot trade your country for any amount of money.
All right, very well said.
All right,
Madam
that's true.
And it's interesting. She has mentioned the SARS. Before you come in, Professor, that we saw the protest that happened there in Nigeria, and interestingly, we've not seen any sanctions being slapped on President Muhammadu Buhari and his, and his leadership there in Zimbabwe, in Nigeria, and also what has been happening here in Uganda. We've seen a lot of people died before the election. About 54 people died in November during the campaigns there. But after the elections, we saw the European Union and the US issue statements, but they just issued statements. They did not put any sanctions. Perhaps they're drafting sanctions. I'm not sure, because the case is still in court. Maybe they're looking to see what they will do, but they've been a bit slow to come in, aggressively upon Uganda and Nigeria. So the issues that you raise in Kube, I think they are quite fundamental. Professor, go ahead.
Yeah, Miriam, let me just try to assist my Ambassador Minor. I'm trying to agree with this line of thought, Miriam, but he should be able to understand this, that the sanctions against the Zimbabwe people, Miriam, has got nothing to do with corruption or violation of human rights. You have given Nigeria as a good example. See how the people are being butchered in Ethiopia, Miriam. See how people are being killed in Abasone, Cameroon here, Miriam. See how many people have died in Southern Sudan, Miriam. Where are these money? Where are these privets? The sanctions against the people of Zimbabwe, Miriam, are purely on the West wants, United States and the UK want to invest in Zimbabwe. These are commercial interests. And that's why I agree with Minor here that we need to change our strategy. We have to change our strategy. We are not going to do things as business as usual. Miriam, when I talk about redemption strategy, you think it is a word. The opposition and the government of Zimbabwe, Miriam, even if they don't like each other, they must come forward and say, where do we want to take our country? And that's the recommendation Minor is Ambassador Minor is giving. We invite these people when we do wrong things. I'm trying to say that let us talk to one another. Time has come for the people of Zimbabwe, Miriam, to engineer and take that country forward. What we honor, and some of the people, let me tell you, like Mwadasa on the ground is telling us there's no violation of human rights. You are not trying to be honest, Mwadasa. There is violation of human rights. And I don't know what you benefit by saying that there are no violation of human rights. Say they are there, but try to do things which take your country forward. We are not going to brief for the government. If they are violating, you should be able to take your responsibility into account. If these people are talking about human rights, why can't we do things in the correct way? I am saying, Miriam, if we reduce corruption, how does it benefit the United Kingdom? How does it benefit the United States of America? It benefits the people of Zimbabwe. And that's why I said that the Mwangasa, we should be among the progressive leaders in Africa.
But what I had Madam Kube say,
sin, it is sin,
Professor.
Because when we say that there's no violation, these people are trying to be unfair.
But what they're saying is these things that Zimbabwe is being accused of, they're happening in other African countries rampantly, even compared to Zimbabwe. So why is it that this special interest in Zimbabwe? Why is it so punitive when it comes to Zimbabwe?
Miriam, can I come in?
Just a moment.
Can I come in?
Let Professor finish. Let Professor.
About Saudi Arabia, Israel, Egypt.
Let us talk about Nigeria first.
Excuse me.
I'm finishing my time.
Yes, Professor, go ahead.
I'm finishing. I'm saying, Miriam, a wrong does not make a wrong. The fact that those violations are being held in other African countries, you cannot justify to do it in your country. We are saying violation of human rights in Kenya, in Uganda, in Zimbabwe, in Ethiopia, in Nigeria is wrong. Let us start working amongst ourselves. Let us have the redemption strategy. Let us talk to the other. The people of the opposition, the people of the opposition who went all the way.
Professor, have you completed? Saxon wants to come in before.
Let him just come in. But what I wanted to say,
yes,
the West found the crack to the opposition.
Okay.
Sangara is not alive. These are the people who went to the West putting against the. But I'm trying to say that the African leaders, problems do arise. We can be able to talk together and agree to do things right. That is my recommendation.
All right, talk together and agree to do things right. Saxon, before Madam Kube comes in, go ahead.
Okay. People need to understand that these Western countries have got a history of infiltration. And as they've got interest, I think we've had, I think very good, before last year, before the COVID-19, there were Hong Kong riots. They had to try to poke their nose in the Chinese affairs. It's not about talking to each other, but it's these guys with their own interest. I've asked, are there any human rights being observed in Egypt, Saudi Arabia? These are nations that enjoy a loan of about $2 billion US. And Israel, how many rights of Palestinians are being violated by Israel, which is the America's blue-eyed boy? No sanctions have been imposed. These sanctions are more racially based and biased, as they lost the land reform, land issue. That is the real cause that Zimbabwe took a stance that most African countries, they know that the third world, if they take that stance, they've lost business. It's all about their commercial interest, not human rights. Absolutely nothing.
Thank you so much. Gugun Kube.
Can I come in regarding Nigeria?
Before you come in, yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Nkube.
What I was saying, let Zimbabwean people don't forget on one thing. Any country, you see that if their leaders can come together to stand the West to tell them, this is our inner kitchen, we need to solve it on ourselves. You don't have the right to put your nose, because we have to understand at the end of the day, we are sovereign countries. It depends how powerful we build ourselves. You see that almost 2 years now, a lot of countries in Western are blaming Rwanda with the human rights, whatever. Their president is standing, tell them that you are not the one to dictate me what to do in my country. Me and my people will decide what we want. I am asking my brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe to come together like this to show the West that we have our inner problem, we can solve it. I don't want you guys always to go and complain, because the majority of our people, we are the one even showing the West that we are victims from the government. Oh, I don't win the election. Oh, they are arresting me. I am under arrest. They are you are the one crying. And if there is a problem, you start complaining.
Okay, and on top of that, they also fund our elections and all that. Thank you so much. And I see that Doctor has joined us. But before Doctor comes in, and Kube, you wanted to say something.
Yeah.
And Kube, go ahead.
Yes, I want to actually add on what everybody else has just said, to say the issue of Zimbabwe is not about human rights violations. I serve in the executive of Kashmir Center for African Union. And if you talk of Kashmir, I'm sure you all know the situation there in Kashmir. Women are raped daily, people are killed every day. There is a lot that is happening there. But just because this UK and the US have got economical interest in the Kashmir. We know that every trade is passing through Kashmir throughout the world. So they are not going to sanction the people of Kashmir or whoever is causing the chaos or in Kashmir there, simply because they are benefiting. Now, the issue in Zimbabwe is they are no longer benefiting. The Zimbabweans opened their eyes and were like, whoa, this is our Zimbabwe. We're going to run it our own way, not in your own way. Again, if you look at the sanctions that were recently imposed on our security personnel, that has got nothing to do with the sanctions. Basically, what it means that even if Google had to come in today and be the Minister of State Security, the sanctions will still follow Google. It's not about the current individual that is sitting on that city, but it's about the sanctions imposed on that position. And again, I put it to the US and the UK that they have failed to crack our security system, and therefore now they are resorting to frustrating our security personnel. There is nothing like human rights violations.
Okay.
That's my submission.
All right, very well. Thank you so much.
Before Dr. comes in, Miriam, before Dr. comes in,
go ahead.
We find out, I'm supporting Gugusia's views. We find out in Zimbabwe, we are part of the global village. That is one aspect which should leave out. And there is need for us to trade with the rest of the world. And so there is that need for us to re-engage with the rest of the world. It is just unfortunate that when they know that we want to re-engage with them, they try to put hurdles along the way so that at least it won't succeed. The reason why we are being imposed, the other reason why sanctions is that they want to stifle Zimbabwe's development so that we will come begging to the West for whatever resources we will be needing. But the Zimbabweans are standing their ground and saying no. There is no country in the world which can claim that there are no skirmishes with its citizens when they are trying to maintain law and order. That takes place in every country. And then those skirmishes, when a country is maintaining law and order, they say that they are human rights. They are not human rights abuses. Human rights abuses are when you hinder or stifle the rights of the people when they are supposed to enjoy them. But in Zimbabwe, telling the truth, we are the ones who are in Zimbabwe. We are enjoying our rights as such, but it is only those who have got their vested interests who try to skew the entire system so that at least they will achieve out of the people's suffering.
All right. Thank you so much. So now I'll bring in Dr. David Matanga, who is joining us from the Political Command Center. Doctor, it is afternoon here in Nairobi, a few minutes past noon here. So
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miriam. It is exactly about 3 minutes past 9 o'clock London time. Thank you very much, all of you. I've been listening to you from, I was on another conference of Pan-Africanism, and I think I wanted to tell you I've scored very heavily today as a Pan-African. I want to thank Gugu Kube for joining us. This is the man who has been trying to get you on the line so that the younger generation can take over from where I started in 1997 on Zimbabwe. Yes, today I've scored heavily. The judge of International Criminal Court of Justice removed. The Somali man, bye-bye. We've got a new judge, and that one, I deserve a clap, Mr. Professor Maina Gaina. I know you are not happy because you are in France. Sorry, I managed to remove your stooge from the court. A rapist, a Somali rapist, who should never even preside over any case between Kenya and Somalia. More so between a rat and a cat. That one I have delivered. 2, I have to report to you Pan-Africans so that you know what I am. I managed to dislodge Mr. Gaina from the situation. I think Miriam touched it this morning on the chief prosecutor's post. It is very interesting. I edged it out. I managed to get these 2 countries to collide, France and Britain. So wait and see what we can move so that we get a prosecutor who is neutral, who is not going to be biased, who is not going to look for Africans, who is not going to carry Africans. This lady, Gugu Kobe, you brought a very good point. Kashmir. You, Mama, on this television, don't fear. Kashmir is the conduit of drugs from Taliban to the West. Yes. Why are people not condemning anybody in India? Whatever is occupying Kashmir, it is the conduit of drugs, narcotic. Why is America in Afghanistan? Yes, 9/11 occurred. Maina, I heard you talk, now talk, I'm here. Because I heard you talk.
Let me, Doctor,
harassing people on the panel. But I want to thank you for maintaining the people on the panel. I was hearing everything. I wish.
Doctor,
yes.
The issues in Africa, I don't want to agree on the reality. We don't want.
Okay, fine. I am coming.
Just 1 minute. You need to understand that this war belongs to some class of people.
I have not
either we like it or not.
Miriam, I have not made my observations. Can you contain the ambassador?
But it's Doctor. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Ambassador.
An ambassador should be diplomatic, not to yo-yo. Don't yo-yo on TV. You are an ambassador, sir. Don't shout when I'm talking. I'm an elder in Africa also. So respect me, Maina. Respect me. Don't talk when I'm talking. Wait until I think. Otherwise, I can curse you, Maina. Hey, and the African curse can catch you. You know? Do you have any more words to say? Because if I clap like this, you will have a problem today in Paris. You won't eat that coffee. Thank you very much, Mr. Maina. I had Ambassador Maina raise very crucial points.
Yes.
They were very crucial. We Africans have a problem.
Yes.
If you look at the people in the ICC who were voting for a new prosecutor, Miriam, you would close your door, close this television and go home. The people who are voting to replace Fatou Bensouda, replace him with what? With another stooge, South Africa, Botswana, Nigeria, Uganda, Tanzania, DRC Congo. They lumped themselves together to vote in support of Guyana. Now look at this. We Africans, I agree with Mr. Maina on very many things. Some of the things he might say jokingly, but they are real. We call ourselves to come and arrest us.
Come, baby.
Come and pick us. Come and take us. Oh, our election was rigged. Come. Oh, this was this. Look at Zimbabwe. That small boy in Zimbabwe, starting with that big pumpkin called Morgan Changarai. The late may his soul rest in peace, wherever he is. They called for sanctions. Maina is right. Maina has a point. They called for sanctions to come and hit Zimbabwe. Then now you go and condemn this Bazungu. How did the Bazungu know that they needed sanctions there? It is Changarai, Welshman Kube, unfortunately, your name, I don't know whether you're a sister. Welshman Kube, Tendai Biti, and what Afa Mutambara. Those are people who called for sanctions to come and eat the people of Zimbabwe.
Sure. Tell them, Professor.
And I'm not going to keep quiet here. And they go and they enjoy. They had us. They are the same people. Tendai Biti is the same man today going to ask the Americans to blacklist Mnangagwa. Don't shy away from telling the truth. He has written a letter to the World Bank to blacklist Zimbabwe. Waluta Muzembe, Stevia Square, another drug dealer called Mugabe's nephew, drug dealer, that you call him Mugabe's nephew, rubbish. These are the people sitting in Johannesburg, conniving with international community to present a case to the British government. I was waiting for this to come so that I can tell Emerson Mnangagwa, ED, you are my friend, listen to me. And I've already told you what you are supposed to do. We have been friends for over 22 years. I work without, at times I've never asked you for even a penny. You know that. I'm a friend of the people of Zimbabwe. Don't mess up with these guys. Get them back to stand trial. Emafikizolo like Jonathan Moyo with his pancake. Get him, pancake. You know the cake looks like a pancake. You know, get him. Jonathan Moyo is one of the lumpens. A lumpen who actually made Zimbabwe to go down. And they use Zimbabweans, if you don't speak, I will speak. What will you do? What will you do? What to do? What to do?
That's what I've told them, Dr. Masanga.
What to do? What will you do, Zimbabweans? If you are not speaking, I will speak.
We are saying it, doctor.
Say it.
Loud.
This man, Jonathan Moyo, you should tell the Kenya government strictly to tell Jonathan Moyo to get out of this place and get a free playing ground.
Yes. Yes.
Let's meet in the international community where Matanga cannot leave you. Where? Try the international community. Maina, try. Try me, Maina. Try. And you will see how I roast you and leave you there. Jonathan Moyo, Waruta Muzembe, Xavier Kasukwere, and that madman, the so-called niece. Is it a niece or nephew? I don't know whether it's niece or nephew.
Patrick Joao.
Is he niece? Because I hear he has double problems. Yeah, but I don't want to talk about that today.
Doctor, I have a question for you.
Yes, I know you are going to shoot me down, but it's all right.
No. It's not about that. I'm asking about if you are understanding as a Pan-African, the cause of this sanction in Zimbabwe are caused by Zimbabwean or what is the percentage caused by Zimbabwean and the percentage caused by the Western? Can you give me? Like 90%. Who has contributed more?
90%. Let me answer it. 90% is by Zimbabweans.
Okay.
Have I answered you properly? 90% was caused by Zimbabweans.
The panel is listening.
Not all
me.
Zimbabweans.
I want the panel. I want the panel.
NMDC malcontent. I have better words of political science to tell you.
90%.
90%.
Doctor, is there any way we can come, the Zimbabwean can come together to try to solve the situation on your understanding as a expert?
Okay, fine. Maina, let me finally in 1 minute round up because I can see the panel is now charged up. Let me tell you frankly, there is a way Zimbabweans have come out. ZANU-PF has said there is one thing, Maina, in the world that you'll never change. Do you know what it is? You'll never reverse. You'll never reverse the land back to anywhere. Mugabe has gone to the grave. May his soul rest in peace, Baba. Baba, you might have made mistakes, but there is no mistake you made in taking away the land that was taken forcefully.
Correct.
By Cecil Rhodes. He took the land. Mugabe said, you cannot have 4,000 commercial farmers controlling 14 by then when I started fighting for Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans were 14 million. Blacks, black, yellow, Indian, white, so many Somalis in Zimbabwe, by the way. You know, Zimbabwe is the only country in the world that allows everybody to settle there. Not like that South Africa where Google Kobe is. It's a racist place. I don't know how Google is surviving there. No. Look, at that time, 14 million black Africans had nothing. Christmas, Harare, Bulawayo. Easter, Bulawayo. There was nowhere to go because all the farms were taken over by 4,000 Camacho farmers. And Maina, I want you to take that history. The Lancaster Agreement of 1980 prohibited Mugabe from changing one full stop or comma from the Constitution. For how many years? 15 years.
10 years.
Today, the Margaret Thatcher regime government, and I want to appeal to Boris Johnson. I'm going to, in 2 days, you'll see my letter. The good thing with the friend and the Commonwealth office in London, they know me. They know I'm a trouble causer, a trouble rouser. When my letter lands there, they answer it quickly. I'm going to trouble rouser them. I'm going to make their pants shrink on this one. The conservative government gave Zimbabwe independence. Am I right? Where are the values of conservative government gone? My policy and belief is Britain should go back to the policy of the word engagement. In 1998, when the Labour Party, I'm a member of the Labour Party, I stood up in Brighton Labour Conference with my African accent, more so from Uganda. You know, we are very polite in English, as if English eats us. And we say politely, like Museveni. Have you seen the way Museveni speaks English? Unfortunately, he started with one small degree or flat degree from Dar es Salaam University, where he almost failed. You know, look at this. We speak English very nicely. I stood up in the conference of 20,000 delegates of Labour Party. I put up my hand. I was a delegate for Croydon Central constituency. I was going to be the first African to be elected in Her Majesty's Parliament in 1998. When we went to the Labour conference in Brighton, this Dr. Matanga stood up. Timidly, I put up my hand, and the machine saw me. You know, they choose by the man who has put up the hand first. They pointed at me. I stood up. I told Tony Blair, and I want to repeat the words. I said, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, the Labour Party and the delegates, I greet you with warm greetings from Africa Strategy, which was my organization, and from Croydon Central, where I represent as a delegate. We have won this election because of the hard work that I and others, I am meaning millions of black people who worked in Brixton, in Vauxhall, in labor-held constituencies, door to door. You know, there are no political rallies in the UK. It's door to door. I was given 5,000 houses. And I'm a black man knocking on people, 5,000 houses. Some of them allowed dogs to chase me away in the morning with leaflets. My brother here, Costa, lives in London. He knows exactly what it is when it is campaigning time. Two white racists opened their dogs to chase me with leaflets. I ran, you know, at that time I was not as big as now. I was slender and very handsome. I was able, and I'm teaching this to Douglas so that he knows I was slender, handsome. I was able to run. The dogs stopped halfway. When the man called them, John, 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 come back. That's when I said, what? This is life. And I was just doing a job of campaigning for Labour Party. But because the man had put a poster of conservative, they swung the dogs for me. Okay, I stood up and I told Tony Blair, Your Excellency, Right Honorable Prime Minister, please don't ever isolate Mugabe. Engage Mugabe. Policy of engagement is what the British were able to give surrender to convince Ian Smith to leave power. Policy of engagement is what the Americans did to the Contra, Noriega of Panama. They engaged him to save their faces because they were selling cocaine in Panama. Any of you who is on the panel who has heard of the Contra rebels, who was funding the Contra rebels? Who was funding the rebels? That is exactly the situation. Abigail Mupambi, I know you are going, but listen to this.
She's not.
When I sat down, the conference went wild. I got clapping of a standing ovation. I couldn't believe it. They forced me to stand up because I stuck to the truth. Engage. The conservative government in Britain engaged in a nutshell. Engaged Mugabe, got independence. That's why between 1980 to 1995, 96, 97, when John Major left and handed over power to Tony Blair, Zimbabwe started having difficulties because there was no willing buyer, compensation to the seller, and the white man goes out. The government of Britain, new Labour government, and I hear Tony Blair is coming to Zimbabwe looking for a job. Magaza, I've already signaled the chef. I've told the chef, please be careful. Tony Blair will bring a regime change there. Don't allow him near there. He's in Malawi with Chakwera. I know what Chakwera does. I know how Chakwera gets his money. If I show you the bank statements coming from George Soros, you might not like Chakwera to visit your country. You might not. And I've told people, if people here from Zimbabwe, you don't tell your system the truth. Me, what do? I will tell you the truth. What's wrong with me telling His Excellency His Excellency Emerson Mnangagwa the truth? He will not sack me because he doesn't employ me. He's my friend. And it's better to tell a friend the truth, senor, that don't bring Tony Blair near you. Don't. Because Tony Blair will wrestle you down. He's the one who caused the sanctions to take off against Zimbabwe. After Tendai Biti, Mogoni Changarai, Walshimani Kube, there is another woman from Bulawayo there with dreadlocks. But nowadays she has changed, she talks well. Those were very hard people. They were very hard people. That lady of opposition.
Priscilla Misairambu.
That lady there.
Priscilla Misairambu.
Yes, she is a very powerful MP. She has changed the sides. Now she's a bit sympathetic to ZANU-PF. Those were very hardliners. And that's why Zimbabwe found itself. In a nutshell now, what do we do? Now that they have targeted 4 officials. I saw this coming. Google, I saw this coming. I saw this coming, Maida. And I warned the people. Because some of the people started working, oh, we have a PR company in London. What can you do in London? You, what? Tell the president the truth. If you cannot even speak to a sweeper on the streets of Vauxhall, and you tell the president, oh, I have a company in London. You know, people made this business. I went to Zimbabwe and I was very frank to the late minister, my friend, my fellow army officer, because I'm also army, the rank. This is a younger man, the late Simbisiyo Moyo, a late younger man who was serving General Vinavash as a PA to General Fox Vinavash. Man, I could call and say, come, go and tell General I've arrived. Because when we were in Tanzania, we were together with the General, Chiwenga and the rest of them. We have been together. I told them, don't try to do what you are doing in Britain. An underground opera, or that we have a company in Britain. Some people, I have and Madaza Abigail, where? Abigail Mpambe listened to me today with Magaza and Gugu Kube and Costa is in London. There is this man, the secretary, who used to be the chairman for ZANU PF in London. Tell him Matanga is looking for you. When I get him online, we shall bust. Because he's confusing. Yes, he's confusing this thing. This is not a joke. He's confusing this. Diplomacy and the lobby are two different things. I am happy that the president has chosen Shava, Ambassador Shava. Ambassador Shava is a career diplomat and also an activist. I have ever been with him in a conference. We shouted Samu Bazungu down to shut up. We need such people. You know, a Mzungu without a home, homeless. He comes to South Africa and threatens my sister here, Gugu. Oh, you know, this is how I want you to organize Africans. I like the way Abigail does the things. Abigail tells them off. We organize the NGO on our basis. Abigail could team up with Maina. They could do very good job in Africa. If we organize the NGOs on the basis of Abigail Mupandi, no betrayal in Africa. But most of the organizations, the NGOs in Africa, are the ones I agree submit. They are the ones who bring what Maina Gaina is saying. They call for sanctions. Look at them. Last night I picked a phone and I told Bob Wine, just concentrate on the court process. Don't tell me you are calling in some foreign forces. You will be on your own, baby. Some of us are the ones holding you near there. This other man is not a joke. He kills. 7 kills. He doesn't joke.
So, Dr. Masanga, you will leave your son now. You cannot back him up.
No, but I've warned him. I've told him, don't call in foreign intervention. Last night in Kenya, Susan Kihika called for Americans and the NGO and the George Soros to come in Kenya to intervene. Maina, you are 100%, my dear brother, correct. We are our problem. We are the problem here. Amai Mupandi, we are the problem. Amai Gugu, we are the problem. Magaza, we are the problem. Professor, we are the problem.
Agreed.
Saxon, we are the problem. Costa, we are the problem. We have a problem.
How do we go about it? Doctor? How do we go
now
about
the
it?
question. The British are the only country in the world that listens in black and white and also listens. They are not like Americans. Americans are very violent. Have you seen the end result of Trump? I told you here on this show that Americans are violent. There is no American foreign policy. American foreign policy is violent. It's violence. You joke with American, he will kill you and announce on TV. He's done. Didn't you see Obama from a humble beginning in Kenya, in Kisumu, in Nyanza, in Siaya? When he killed Osama bin Laden, you saw how Obama jumped on TV. We did it. We did it. That is the violence. American foreign policy is full of violence. British foreign policy is full of silent diplomacy. Google, you got me. I know who you are. Don't worry. You got me. Silent diplomacy. Please, my sister, silent diplomacy. Abigail, Magaza, you have very Costa. We have dangerous men like Madaza, Professor Madaza. He doesn't sleep. Ibo Madaza does not sleep. Ibo Madaza sleeps on NGO money, goes to the toilet on NGO money, goes to his farm on NGO money, drives his money on NGO money. He will never sleep. So you must, the only way to defeat Ibo Madaza is also to start the tactic of silent diplomacy. Let's look for British people, those who can access the heartland of Britain, and tell politicians to engage the government of Zimbabwe. I want to tell you the Commonwealth is going to sit. It's because of COVID. Commonwealth was going to sit. We wanted Zimbabwe to be readmitted in the Commonwealth. Britain now at the moment needs Commonwealth. Britain needs Zimbabwe. Britain cannot afford to isolate itself from Zimbabwe. You get my point? Yeah. They need the raw materials, they need the diamonds, they need the gold, they need it from Zimbabwe. That's why they separated themselves from the so-called European Union. They want a share, a big share. So the any British government that errs now and antagonizes the Zimbabwe government will be a loser. Therefore, let's do reverse psychology. Use this same tactic to twist them and tell them, hello, we can go China way. And China will build the rail here very fast. Have you seen the Chitungiza road rail? Is it coming up, Mupambi? Mupambi is the Chitungiza. There is a rail the Chinese are building in Chitunguza. Is it coming up?
They haven't started.
Or there is a road that they want to build. There are certain things, projects you can see. If you go to Zimbabwe, despite all this bad publicity, Maina, I want to invite you to go to Zimbabwe along with me. You will see the type of discipline. The type of discipline. The roads that are coming up. The buildings that are coming up. You will not say this is a country that should be demonized. Therefore, I submit. I'm taking most of your time because I'm running away to another meeting. I want to leave you to engage yourselves under the auspices of my younger generation, Miriam in the headquarters in Nairobi. I want to tell you that every time, let's get more Africans. Mupambi, don't give up on the way. We are about to create. We didn't know that Google will join us. We didn't know that Castro will join us, Costa. We did not know. There are many people coming on board. Let's discuss Africa. Let's defend Zimbabwe where necessary. But Africans were our own enemies. We call for these sanctions, then run away from them when they are beginning to hurt us. I submit.
All right, thank you so much. Abigail Mupambi, you had not said anything since we started the show because we had a beautiful problem there with your signal. I don't know if you can hear me. Good afternoon.
Abigail is gone.
All right, she's been having a problem with her signal, so she's not been able to speak.
And her signal is not very good.
All right.
But we have Costa Estelle. I don't know who was next. I don't know. I just bumped in.
Yeah.
But thank you for. If there are any on the panel who has a question for me, please.
No, I want us to conclude now.
It's an addition.
No, Abigail has come back. Abigail, you are on. You are on now. You are the one to speak.
Well, Abigail is fixing that. Abigail, when you're able to join us, you'll let us know. I'll just take last submissions now, moving forward with this topic that we were looking at today. Does Zimbabwe need sanctions or engagement? Mr. Maganza, I'll start with you. Your final submissions. Which way forward with these sanctions?
Thank you very much. My first call is for the MDCA, because we've got MDCT in Zimbabwe and also MDCA. MDCA is the one which is led by Nelson Chamisa. He has got his people, the Tendai Biti, and him, Nelson Chamisa, and his courts, who have been and are still continuing calling for external sanctions to be imposed on Zimbabwe. It is a high time they have got to think or try to find out or figure out who they are. Are they Zimbabwe? Are they fighting for Zimbabwean interests or they are fighting for foreign interests? And then if they are fighting for Zimbabwean interests, then which means they are supposed to change their modus operandi and have that Zimbabwean mentality and that patriotic attitude. Come back, talk with the government which is in place. If they have got any challenges, not asking external governments to use force so that at least they will go to arm twist the government, and then the government will have to beg the opposition to talk to them. That is not the way. The way is only for the locals to talk among themselves, and then we'll be able to bring out a solution without foreign interference. We say we are against those imposed sanctions. We are against any national who wants to use foreign powers so that they have got to win the public, or who want to benefit from the financial benefits which come from those people, so that at least they enjoy the financial benefits at the loss of the ordinary people who are traveling in Zimbabwe. We say no to sanctions, yes to engagement, yes to re-engagement. Yes to re-engagement to all those countries which feel that we are part of the global village and we need to work together as the countries of the world.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Manganza. Yes to engagement, yes to re-engagement. Gogun Kobe, your final submission.
My final submission will be to His Excellency. I want to say, His Excellency, you saw what happened in the US. The people that caused chaos there were followed one by one and they were arrested. Don't be apologetic maintaining law and order in Zimbabwe, His Excellency. Go after them. When they are causing chaos in Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe is not a banana republic. Go after them. Let them get arrested. I, as Google, I want to see the convictions. This catch and release of the sanctioned beggars, His Excellency is being too soft on them. We cannot be sympathizing with the sanctioned beggars. Let them be arrested. Let them face the music. Let them be convicted. Let them go to jail. We also saw the MDC person in the UK. They don't want that happening in their land, but they want us to tolerate people like Hopewell Chinono. It is impossible. It can't. It will not work, not in Zimbabwe. So my submission is, His Excellency, Faka mafuta. Press harder. We orderly country. We are behind you. Don't be apologetic sitting on sanction beggars. We are here. We support you. We will shield you. We will defend you. Zimbabwe is an independent country. We want our country. We want our independence. We want self-determination. We don't want to be told what to do in Zimbabwe. I don't want to go to a midnight movie and be scared to go back home because there is USA and the UK. No. Faka mafuta, press. Faka mafuta. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yugun Kube there coming to us all the way from South Africa. Thank you so much. Saxon Spina, I don't know if you're still there. If you are, your final submissions.
Oh my God. This Weka mafuta. Miriam, it says, Weka mafuta.
Saxon.
I understand the Chona very well. Weka mafuta.
Weka mafuta.
Yes.
Weka mafuta.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
well. Saxon.
Aid more pressure.
Is Saxon there? Not there. He had also a bit of a signal problem there early in the morning. Professor.
Yeah, Miriam, I started with this and I want to end with this. I said that sanctions are evil. They are damaging the country of Zimbabwe and the countries in the region. And in the long run, they are affecting the innocent people. And Miriam, my appeal to the African leaders and the African people, let us stop organizing. Time has come for us to organize ourselves. And if we organize ourselves, we will find ourselves thinking properly on what's good for the continent of Africa and our people. And if we start thinking, Miriam, we will feel. And if Miriam will feel, we radiate. And if we radiate, we will be able to create a new Africa. There is no way towards creating a prosperous Africa apart from working among ourselves. I entirely agree with Dr. Masanga. I entirely agree with Ambassador Maina, whom you know I agree with, saying that we have done things inviting the West to come to us. No matter what, Miriam, how do we go to the people who colonized us? How do we go to the people who used us as slaves? How do we go to the people who took all our resources? How do we go to the people who took our land and they raped all our resources? And now in the 21st century, they are trying to say that we can be able to observe human rights and respect human rights when therefore our grandfathers did not do it and they have never apologized. Let us proceed, Miriam, to have the redemption strategy for Africa. As much as even if we don't agree with one another, we can sit out as brothers. And we are not going to injure one. I will only try to choose to disagree with my sister, Kube. He has given a lot of heat to Emerson, President Emerson. But I will only ask Emerson, you engage, talk to one another. You will never become a lesser human being. See what your brother Uhuru Kenyatta has done. He engaged the Prime Minister.
Prof, sorry for me to come in there. Sorry to interject. Prof, His Excellency has called all the parties in Zimbabwe, for example, through Pollard. So we are not going to be held at ransom by the sanction beggars like Chamisa and his colleagues. We're not going to do that. They refused to come on board on Pollard. So what is the president supposed to do? Yes, we want to re-engage. We are going to continue re-engaging with the other countries.
Advice you put them in, I have said continue engaging. We don't agree. I've said continue engaging them. You will never become a lesser human being. You are the head of the state.
Arresting
part of the nation.
Arresting them. Professor, arresting them is engagement.
Exactly. Yes, terrific, Doc, terrific.
All right. We have to end now, please. We have to bring you to an.
No, wait, Miriam. Okay. If you are making mistakes like what Ruto is doing here, you're calling MPs, telling them to go to Parliament to overthrow Uhuru Kenyatta. You want Kenyatta to continue engaging without engaging them very serious. Surely, you are telling the MPs of the same to go and put another agenda in in parliament, yet you are elected on Jubilee Party. Let's engage them through prison also.
Okay, thank you. Professor, conclude your thought,
Yeah,
please.
if you are in Kurubi,
I am saying, and I want to stand on my guards.
Yes, you are guarded.
Engaging, you don't become a rational person. You will become straight, and I am promoting the Dempsey strategy. Raila was not a east man to deal with Dr. Masanga, you know. But when, of course, swearing himself was a serious crime. It was a serious crime to swear. That was treason. But President Uhuru Kenyatta said, we can engage. And in Kenya, we are enjoying peace. That is what I am promoting as a Pan-African, that he can still engage.
Thank you so much.
And he's doing very well. And he will continue to doing very well.
Thank you so much, Professor, for, yes, that's very profound.
Why not wanted to come in?
Douglas Kirimi, before, you know, Douglas only spoke once.
Say again, Professor?
Before Ambassador comes. All right. Some order, please. Douglas, if you're still there.
Thank you, Miriam. And also thank you to Gugu Nzube, who has given the president of Zimbabwe a very profound advice. If it came from me, it would have been the same. There is nothing to mince one's on, because these imperialists are sitting on the people of Zimbabwe. And also to his African brothers, there are people pretending to be friends of Emerson Mnangagwa who are not standing with the people of Zimbabwe. The person who is the president of South Africa, who was supposed to be, who was a chairman of AU, has never even a single day stood up for the people of Zimbabwe. What he has continued to do is also, he has adopted imperialist tendencies of suppressing the people of Zimbabwe instead of fighting for the freedom and sovereignty of those people. Remember, the people of Zimbabwe, they live in a sovereign country. There is nobody that is going to continue suppressing the people of Zimbabwe and also suppressing their voices as a people. And as African brothers and sisters, we need to continue supporting the efforts of lifting the sanctions against the people of Zimbabwe. At this point, we need to also tell each other the truth. The truth of the matter is, Zimbabwe is being sat on by the rig of imperialists today because Zimbabwe does not agree with what these imperialists want most of the time. At the end of the day, we must be able as a people, as African, as Pan-Africans, to stand with the president of Zimbabwe and the people of Zimbabwe. If we cannot do that, why are we Africans? Why are we pretending and also telling the people of Uganda that we love them? We don't love them. We need to stand up for them and also tell them tell imperialists that they need to lift the sanctions against that are against the people of Zimbabwe, and also the people that have sanctions that have been put on the leaders of Zimbabwe. They need to be lifted, because we have seen countries like Ethiopia who are killing people in Tigray and other places who are suppressing human rights and all that. There are no sanctions being put on them. Why are they only putting sanctions on Zimbabwe? They need to stop all this and clear every sanction on the people of Zimbabwe, and also for Zimbabweans that continue collaborating with the imperialists to continue stifling development of their nation, continue stifling the development and progress of their nation. They need to be patriotic to their flag and to their soil. They need to stop all these manner of games against the government of President Mnangagwa so that they can support each other and grow and move Zimbabwe forward. I submit, Miriam.
Thank you so much. Finally, Ambassador, end it for us.
Thank you so much, Miriam.
And there is a Costa.
Okay.
Ambassador, go ahead.
There is a Costa, Mr. Costa Estelle.
We tried. Are they able to speak now?
No, it's there now. It's there now.
All right.
So, Mr. Costa, go ahead first. I will come after that.
The chance is on you.
Ambassador, go ahead.
No, Mr. Costa, go ahead first. I will come after that. Can you hear us?
Yes,
Mr.
I can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. We can listen. Okay. We listen to you.
Okay.
Sanctions or no sanctions, Zimbabwe will never be a colony again. We will never, ever, ever again be a colony. And I think it is necessary now for the Zimbabwe government to actually put in place laws that make it treasonous for anybody to call upon sanctions on their country. We have treated people that are violating the country and causing problems for us with kid gloves. I think it is time we begin to really really screw them to a sticking place, where we will not tolerate any more nationals, Zimbabwean nationals, who call for foreigners to be involved in our national affairs through sanctions. The likes of Tendai Biti and Chamisa and their cohorts, in my view, should be in prison now. Because if an American did that in the United States, they are considered treasonous and they are taken to prison. The law comes hard on them. We need to do the same to those that call for sanctions on their own countries. They are treasonous because they kill their own people, and yet they get paid by foreigners to bring misery to our people. Sanctions are hurting Zimbabweans. Zimbabweans are dying because we can't access money to put in the healthcare. We can't access money to put into education. We can't access money to put into things that the country needs. And Zimbabweans have called for this. We should not be tolerating these things. My view is that the government should put in place laws to make it treasonous for any Zimbabwean who opens their mouth to call for sanctions on the country. They should go to prison.
Thank you so much. And before I let you go, because you just joined us and this is your first participation today, the topic we had was does Zimbabwe need more sanctions or engagement? I don't know, what is your thoughts on that?
Need means that Zimbabwe cannot live without sanctions.
All right.
The whole concept of need.
So let's
nobody needs to be told. Nobody needs anybody to force them to do things they don't want.
Mr. Constantino, and put does Zimbabwe, perhaps these countries that are sanctioning Zimbabwe, because we saw the latest there from the UK, and we know there are existing sanctions from the US, existing sanctions from the European Union there. Is it about time perhaps they looked for another way to engage with Zimbabwean government instead of imposing these sanctions?
They are supposed to be clever enough to know that sanctions don't work. They have not worked. For more than 20 years, the Americans have put sanctions on Zimbabwe with the idea of changing the ZANU-PF government. They have failed dismally. Anybody who is progressive and who is thinking diplomacy does not work, and it's not going to work. So it makes sense for them it would make sense for them to change tack and begin to engage rather than try and force people. Because sanctions are all about coercion. And no one who is independent is going to ever allow themselves to be coerced. Yes. It's not going to happen. We beat imperialism fair and square, and they asked us to sit down with them. That's why Lancaster happened. We are not going to submit to anybody. Not at all. Not at all. They can put whatever sanctions they think they will put in place. I can guarantee you one thing. Even with puppets in Zimbabwe, that country will never submit to any foreign force to force it to do the things it does not want to do. It will not happen.
All right.
So in a civilized and globalized world, the best is to engage, sit down, talk, and find a way forward together.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I didn't know, Costa, you had not talked. I just want to apologize for having Miriam allowed me.
All right. All right. Yes, Doctor. Thank you so much.
I didn't know, but I did not know you had not talked.
Yes.
I'm very sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Doctor. I was late coming anyway.
It's okay, Doctor.
I will talk the last. Let's hear from the Ambassador, Miriam.
Yeah, he's concluding for us. Ambassador, go ahead.
Thank you so much to the panel. As Dr. Masanga said, me, I'm a diplomat. I'm not a fighter like him. So I'm not seeing the same way he's seeing the problem. Because for me, problem is mean challenges and I have the way to solve it. That's why I'm a diplomat. So the perspective on Zimbabwe, the situation we are having as Africans, we have always talked about it. This problem we are going to the winner take all in the government are hurting some people that they are ready to frustrate the government that we don't want to acknowledge. I'm giving a simple example. Imagine today in Uganda, if Museveni decide to make Bobi Wine the vice president, you know that the country will be in peace. Am I right or wrong with Dr. Matanga? to say that this boy, he deserves it, he will be my deputy president, and we engage everybody in his party to be engaged and to solve the issues of the country, you will see that the population will be satisfied. I'm coming back again to our democracy, that anytime when the one party win and the other party feel that they are not among the country, they are not a citizen for this country, they don't deserve anything, they will do everything to frustrate you. That's why they are calling all the sanctions, because we cannot bring everyone together. In order for us to be accountable to each other, we have to share responsibilities. Everybody know that. All the people who was having issues, either in my country, in Zimbabwe, or in Chad, or wherever, you see that the parties who are not involved in the running day-to-day life of the people and the government are the one always will be aligned with the West to frustrate you. But if the person has been given a responsibility today to say that you have a responsibility, and if you don't deliver your responsibility, the country will take you accountable, everyone will be on his track. That's why Western countries, they are succeeding. You can't see that because I am Democrat or Republican in America, I'm not getting a job. That's not true. But in Africa, it's happening. If today you are in an opposition party, you have less chance to succeed. Nobody, all the doors are closed for you. So this frustration, we need to think about it in order even to talk about the West. Because when we come together, we see that we have built now a complete handshake to run our country, all of us. We don't have an opposition party or the government in party. So what we are going to do, we need to build a system that everyone contribute. And at the end of the day, if everyone is hold this responsible, they will never have a problem. The West cannot be among us. But we are fighting among each other. We complain to the West help us, and we complain again on the West. For how long are we going to continue? 60 years of independence. Today, let's take an example. There are some African countries are doing well. Botswana have a very good politics, very good economy. Have we here a lot of problem in Botswana? They are African like us. Why you cannot learn from them? Why we cannot find the same strategy? Is the same political party in Botswana running the country more than 30 years, but they never have any riot, any problem, any fighting among them. Why?
Now they have
some. I am coming. When we compare it with another country, when you compare it with Chad, when you compare it to Uganda, to Zimbabwe, there is a difference. You know, things can get better.
You are right there, yes?
Yeah, we have to appreciate also the effort, right?
Kama
the effort.
And the other man who took over from Kama.
Yeah, but they have done well compared to another countries in Africa. So we can learn from them to say that which strategy can we do? At least to avoid those.
Maina, before you conclude, I can't accept you to tell people here on that Botswana is a very good country in Africa.
I'm not saying it's very good. We have to learn some of the strategy they use. Okay.
Yes, it's a very bad country in the sense that Botswana is just like America. There is no difference between America and Botswana. Yesterday, if you look at those people who are voting along the line, Botswana refused everything AU has been doing. Botswana will never agree with any resolution from the African Union. And I don't know why we have kept it in African Union. So I don't know how good you weigh it.
All right, we have
they
to
say
come
that
to
sometimes even someone is your enemy, he have a good thing that you can learn, Dr. Masanga. At least maybe you can let me talk, right?
Ambassador, you only have 10 seconds, please. We are coming to the end of the show.
Yeah, Dr. Masanga has taken the 10 seconds, so I can leave it like that.
No, you go ahead. You finish. Miriam will give you 1 minute. Finish.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say that let us at least learn, even for some people we don't like, let us learn also from our enemies. What is the good side they have that we can implement in our daily life? That is my advice. We don't want to know this is right or wrong. If we can learn and change, that is the best part of life. I submit.
Thank you so much. 2 hours later.
When are you coming to Africa?
Thank you, Saxon Svina.
I'm on my way to Uganda.
All right, very well. A nice travel. You're just pulling doctor's leg there. Thank you so much, Mr. Maganza. Thank you, Gugu Nkube. It was a pleasure to have you on the show today. Hopefully next time you will join us. Thank you, Abigail Mupambi. Although you're not able to engage with us today because of the poor signal, and we missed you. But hopefully next time you shall be able to contribute. Thank you, Douglas Kirimi from Kenya. Thank you, Professor Jared Onyari, also from Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you, Ambassador Maina Ghana. And I'm surprised today, Professor agreed, half of what you're saying, and the other half, hey, you're not in agreement. But I'm not surprised. Thank you so much, Constantino, who joined us towards the end.
Costa Esteli, Miriam, you might not see him.
He already spoke, and his name is Constantino.
No, I'm saying.
I'm not through.
Also,
I'm not through, Doctor. I'm still. The list was long.
Yes.
I'm still.
And I don't agree with Minor. We are conversing. Sorry.
All right, we have to go now. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
You have not forgotten me.
And
you have
I've said Dr. Matsanga. Doctor, thank you so much for your.
Dr. Matsanga and Professor Onyari will always agree with Ambassador Minor because Ambassador is a diplomat. They are fighters.
I'm a scorer, Minor.
All right.
Minor.
Today, you and Onyari.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.